And good evening, alienated parents, alienated grandparents, alienated children worldwide. Welcome to Let's Talk on parent alienation and family domestic violence. We are in a serious pandemic today as we are fighting to have our children in both parents' arms during a divorce or a separation. And it's getting to the point where parents are losing children, no different than being kidnapped and never to see the kids again. And later on, as our children grow, they grow with severe mental, emotional health issues. And as an alienated mom for 18 years, I could tell you it's not pretty. Our children are suffering severe depression, and they become suicidal. They are addicted to alcohol and drugs, and they live out on the streets with severe mental health issues with no one there to help them. So we need parents out there to protect their children, and all we can do is educate you so that you can go into a courtroom. I strongly recommend that we don't go into courtrooms, but if you have to go, I want you to go in prepared, knowing that these judges are uneducated and you need to know exactly where you stand when you walk into these courtrooms, because in most cases you're already deemed a bad parent before you walk in. And here we have today, welcoming back to part two, is Fernando Irizarry from New Jersey, and he is here to talk about 42 court documents that everybody goes through, but doesn't realize that you have to do all this kind of work when you go into a family court. And if you missed last week's podcast, you'll find it on Parent Alienation, his child abuse page, or you can go to YouTube and find me on Let's Talk, and Fernando as well. So, Fernando, a quick brief down, is an alienated dad for 5 years. He has 3 children. I'm not sure. I meant to ask you backstage if you've seen them in the last week, but you could tell us, no, you haven't. Oh, that's so sad. But Fernando is dealing with a lot of issues. So, Fernando, I'm going to give you the floor, and you can tell us everything, like a quick recap from last week to what you're going to talk about today. Um, you seem to know a lot that can help a lot of people out there. So welcome back again, Fernando. Thank you for joining us here on Let's Talk. And if there's any professionals out there, doctors, lawyers, therapists, please tune in and help us. You can also join us here in the comment section, and we can answer your questions or give us some help, advice, or anything else. So again, Fernando, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure where to begin. There's a lot of documents here. 42, I don't think I can go through the whole entire thing, but I'm going to give the viewers just a little quick rundown, a little bit of what I think. I'll present it to you, what fraud looks like with the Department of Children and Family and Family Court of Connecticut. So I'm going to expose a lot of errors here as to what took place.
And good evening, alienated parents, grandparents, alienated children, family friends worldwide. Welcome to Let's Talk. On these devices, when they overheat, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
That's okay. So, so for tonight, I'm gonna expose a lot of it. So I'm gonna talk about a little bit in the beginning how it all started, and this originally came from the public school. You know, it's most common for parents when you get an anonymous phone call from the public school. Here's one. This took place. I'm not sure of the date, but I'll just read a little bit of the script from what is written to Fernando Irizarry. Here it is. Student states her jaw hurts and has a straight bruise on her back from her father hitting her and falling off her bike. Student stated that her father closed fist punched her in the jaw when he attempted to hit her brother, Fernando. Students state that dad was attempting to punch her older brother. And into the ongoing, it says ongoing emotional, physical abuse, domestic violence, and limited details unknown. Then it says student states she is not afraid to go home. So this was a complaint that came from the school. Till today's date, my daughter is willing to talk to whoever, and is a big lie story here. And I would like to go further into the details. How? So, and part of the 42 documents here, see my documents is a little bit all mixed. So I'm just gonna do a quick rundown on most of the 42 documents. Okay, but first I'd like to, get into the detail, mainly with this judge, Judge Driscoll, John C. Driscoll, out of Connecticut. Okay, so there's a restraining order for 99 years, and I couldn't understand why it was needed to have a protective order for 99 years. So, and it was obviously, if you tune into last week's video, I talked a little bit of what happened and what led to the Facebook arrest. I went on Facebook Live. I was talking about the wrongdoing of CPS workers and judges and commissioners, and etc.
Right.
So today I'll get into a little bit detail. The little trick things that DCF workers agents use against a mother or a father. Here's one, and this is in order for them to get a protective order. Okay, and it says, I am a DCF. This is an order of protection. This is by Gail Hooper out of Willimantic, Connecticut. It says, I am a DCF social worker, and Mr. Irizarry is the parent of children on my caseload. Mr. Irizarry believes that his children were removed illegally and has spent his past 6 months trying to get his children back through juvenile court of Waterford. As the process has gone on, Mr. Irizarry has become increasingly angered at DCF, court, police, school, personnel. He has made posts on Facebook stating that he is not going to back down and posted that he is coming for everyone. I am the ongoing worker and most recently had contact with Mr. Irizarry last Wednesday. Mr. Irizarry is a convicted felon and may have access to weapons. He is considered himself a conspiracy theorist and a sovereign nation. Persons of this belief are known to be a danger and are considered to be capable of terrorism. He has posted an article on Facebook, Is it ethical to kill a CPS? So this is on the, I guess, affidavit or statement condition for which seeks relief. So this is by one of them. This is what they'll use, I guess to, protect them, and their legal scam. But here's why, because there's a reason why these 42 documents was left in silence. It was never contested, never rebutted, never answered, questioned, no, nothing, total silence. So
And that's from CPS?
This is from a CPS worker. This one is from Willimantic.
And how long ago was that?
Wow, this happened the same year when my offspring were taken. So I'll address what led to the incarceration, which was later of that year of 2018. They were taken on my birthday, May 15th. On December 27th, 2018 is when I was arrested for breach of peace, inciting injury to person and property, and harassment, I believe it was. And these by the three individual, one judge and two CPS worker. One judge, one CPS worker have 99 years of protective order. I need some answers as to why. And so
Wow.
a lot of the answers, and I think would be, is discovered in my part of my 42 items. I listed it in one of the comments on the previous video we had from last week. So maybe someone could get a glimpse of what am I talking about.
Hmm.
So, okay, this is one from Gail Hooper. Now, there's another one by Crystalline Davis. She's the one who was the investigator. She's the one that acted as a police officer, as a prosecutor, as a judge, as a lawyer. I can't even describe, the acts that she was performing that were very unlawful, and it was all colorable here. So, all right. Now, I just want to show part of these 42 documents. I'm just going to show just a quick receipt, who it was all sent out to, John Driscoll. Anyway, this is not public communication, Department of Defense, presiding judges over the case, Supreme Court of United States. These are the receipts. Everyone was notified, that's what led to the arbitration. I'll get to that. But I'll start with the document just to a quick rundown. What's in them. All right. First, I'm going to start with the statement of truth. This was served to Crystalline Davis before, my offspring was removed from my home. Okay. This was attached with a color of law violation that was served to her and to Norwich police officers that came to our home. So in this was served, the officers was there. I had several notice on my door tape, just giving them, notice trespassing, and etc. So in this statement, my statement of truth, notice to principal, notice to agent is notice to principal. Okay. Dear Crystalline Davis, my name is Fernando of the family Irizarry of the Norwich, Connecticut. I'm going to read a little bit further. I just want to do a little quick rundown. The important key as to what is in here, why they ignored it. I don't want to start with the introduction, or maybe I should. Okay, I further affirm that I do not consent to a judicial tribunal of any sort, that I do not consent to an administrative hearing of any sort, that I do not consent to having my matter in controversy heard before officers of the corporation on any level. I have the right and I am entitled to redress, due process in law, and equal protection in law. I do hereby knowingly, deliberately, intentionally, and willingly exercise these rights and entitlements. I mean, what did this mean when someone here is trying to, trespass or basically identity theft, maybe to use it against for their personal gain, personal use? So, here I'll read a little further as to I'll read. Excuse me, I get a little bit nervous. I'm new into this camera thing, so
It's okay. It's okay. Take
for
your
the
time.
state of Connecticut Department of Children and Family, Ms. Crystalline Davis, social worker who gained the insured attention after the above duress, proceed to verbally explain the following mispresentation, false and misleading general powers of government. You're in violation. This meeting letting her know, hey, you're hold up, you're violating my rights. Fall back. You're in violation. And this is before they were taken from my home, before this hearsay, assumption, and presumption stuff. So, you're in violation of my God-given rights, my common law right, tort law, or deprivation of entitlement, slander, libel, defamation, trespass, deprivation of rights secured by the Constitution, unlawful trust, denial of due process, right to contract, right to privacy, failure to disclose, denial. You should get the hint what's here, and so this should have been good enough, even for if she would have received this, or her supervisor or whoever. I mean, this should have been good enough to, consider them. I think I'm confused by all this, but I'm gonna go on. I'm not gonna give up.
Never give up, because what you're learning today is going to help for tomorrow, for the next and the next, because we need to be out there educating people on what's happening to our children. And, after 18 years, I could tell you exactly where you're heading with your kids. If you don't get your kids back and out of that foster care system, they're going to be damaged for the rest of their lives.
They already are.
Well, they are, and they're going to be even worse.
Yeah,
they'll get worse. They'll get suicidal. They'll get into drug and alcohol addictions. They become school shooters. They, may even get up one day and shoot the judge or, the lawyer or whoever. We don't know what's going to trigger these kids, because they're walking on eggshells. They're in worse situations than myself as an extremely domestic violence survivor. I protected myself because I was an adult. Our kids cannot protect themselves as children from an abuser.
No.
And these judges are allowing these kids to be abused mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically. And it's insane that some of these lawyers out there are protecting the abusers and bringing these children onto the stand. Who in their right mind puts an adult child, after never seeing their parent for 18 years, back on the stand to attack that parent, to help that alienating other parent? It's sad what they're doing to us.
Absolutely.
And we need to stop it, because this is court abuse. This is legal abuse.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm so sorry that, you're dealing with this, and anybody else that follows into the same situation we are in today. This should not happen. This has been going on. Like you said, the 99-year restraining order. Well, my ex-husband was alienated 64 years ago. He's been in the family court system for 64 years. And then he put his children through it. Our children are going to be doing it to their children. Absolutely. And so on and so on. So the money these courts are profiting from our children is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I wrote to our president, our Premier Trudeau today, and I begged him, because I've gone as far as Karina Gould's office for her to listen to our story. I've been waiting a year for a reply to see what happened over that meeting, because it was during my trial last year that I had to, speak to her and let her know that I'm being abused by the court system. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
But, they're part of it.
Yeah.
We're dealing with severe corruption. We're dealing with everything's government. Our police are no different. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad. I'm not saying everybody is bad, but the good ones are being pushed out, being killed, being, committed. Wow. So tell us more about what happened when you got accused of all those things from CAS.
Well, from the beginning, from the get-go, I mean, when they came, here's how. When it first started with the, they was curious about this absences from the school and school uniform. That's what was the whole argument when they first came to our door. Okay, that's what was it. So I gave them the notices. That's where that affidavit, the statement of truth, actually here. This is when I gave her the notice after when they came to the north with knocking on the door with those concerns. After they were already taken, the children were taken, then is few weeks after is when we got the report from the school that my daughter states that father punched her, in the face, and that was the story. So it was confusing how it started. Which one was
Mhm.
it? Was it because of the school uniform policy, school attendance, or was it because father punched daughter in the face? So I knew it was a bunch of bull crap. I already knew their game. I was already onto them back then from when MySpace was out before Facebook, when I was exposing, trafficking them with the Clintons. I mean, maybe that profile still available. Maybe you could research. I lost, account to that, but it goes back. So I already was awake of who's CPS, DCF, DCYS. There's just so many titles, ACF, but they all have, operate on TINs, QSIT numbers. So they have their own where they put where their money where it can't be traced. That's and part of the 42 documents that I submitted, or that was, left in silence, it kind of proved because why it left in silence. And to me, if you leave it in silence, then maybe you must agree, then you must accepted it, then you have no question, no response to it, and it was just left like that. So, and it was illegal adoption and so forth. So this is why I'm kind of here today to talk about part of these 42 document and let the viewers decide. Here are the allegations of I don't know which one, uh, school attendance policy, or school uniform policy, or father punching daughter in the face. I don't know which one, but I think my arguments was very clear in all the documents that I'm gonna read a little bit overview. There, a lot, and so I'll just give you a quick brief. I have one in my hand. This one was stamped, and this one is demand a showing of cause, written of Karam and non-Judas, Fernando Irizarry, the plaintiff, and the people of the state of Connecticut. And and it says, there is some confusion. I believe someone is attempting to simulate a lawful process. It appears to the naked eye that the unsuspecting individual that there is a claim that someone was under contract, and that somehow that contract was breached, and that somehow the civil agreement could equate to a criminal liability on the behalf of the defendant, object without recourse, and demand proof be made to appear on the record as to such validity of an erroneous presumption. So, and it says, and it clearly starts with, jurisdiction is the power to hear and determine the subject matter in controversy between parties to a suit, to adjudicate or to exercise any judicial power over them. So at this point, I don't know where the fraud began. I don't know if the fraud began when I signed the the parental right paper to, when you give your offspring the name, or did the fraud happen when wife was in social security disability and maybe receiving some help, some benefits from social service like food stamps or cash, and maybe somewhere in there where, because I mean, I started discovering to try to make sense as to child support, how this child support and garnishment came into play. Who are they? And so did the fraud start at some time when a mother say, yes, my kid's father, I don't know where he is. He doesn't live with me, in order to receive these benefits from welfare. So I guess that's where the fraud began, I assume, where here they are sending me a bill without a wet signature for me in agreeing, saying, okay, yeah, I'll agree to pay whatever it is, none whatsoever. So, so I don't know, but here I am trying to,
So, like, let me just stop you there. So you probably got like fake ID, your ID has been stolen. You know,
Absolutely. I believe that these people from the state, association, partnership, the social services, you have, uh, geez, DCF. I believe all these people, all these entities are involved in identity theft, honestly, for their own personal gain, personal pleasure, vendetta, incentives, bonuses, in order to receive federal funding. So, in order to get this, you have to create something out of nothing.
Right.
So they started it with the, I don't know which one, the school uniform policy, or put your, father, or what. But here's the father not appearing to the court, and some I appeared. But here I am sending them black and white. Here, I need you to respond. Here, you're looking for an acceptance. I'm trying to remain in honor and good faith and doing everything that as I can. I'm learning as the process I'm going, as I'm going along, you know. Um, it's tough, but for all of this not to be answered is very suspicious to me, and I have suspicious, and I have to talk about it, and I have to bring it out in air, because damn, if I believe that this is happening to me, I really think that this is happening statewide, nationwide, with trafficking, with treasonous from the own judges, banking,
It's
you know?
happening worldwide. It is. It's in every country, every state, every part of the US. It's in Sweden, it's in Germany, you know, France, here it's in Ontario, Canada. It's all in every court. It's uniform. You
Yeah,
talk about uniforms. It's all uniform. Everybody's following the same script.
absolutely. It's
Hmm.
all commercial, and now I can understand where the commercial, the commerce, game come to play. You
Right.
know, so I had to, I had to study, I had to do a lot of reading, and I thank them, because I learned a lot. I forgive them, but they still, got to hold up as to, for what they did,
Right.
and I'm sorry, but I have to argue and say that I have the right to say that my offspring are being extorted,
Yes.
and so here are part of these 42 documents that prove, yes, they are. Why was this left unanswered? And with your help, with the viewers, I demand answers, and I should have the right to these answers, not just an what is it? The school uniform, school attendance, or file. It's more to it, you know. And if I can show you the QSIP numbers and the numbers that's attached to it, you know, I don't want to present it here and show it. There are some things that I like to, expose, and some, not. But just to get a little quick, view of what fraud looks like. Here's another one. I'm gonna jump into the next one, because I don't want to waste, time. But just a little rundown. Okay, this was filed December 23, in 2021. Okay, this is when the case went to the appeals court. Okay, so, and it's argued by Fernando. I'm just gonna do a quick rundown what's in it. Tables and context. Okay, it says affidavit of truth and understanding and intent and claim of right. And the second notice of fraud and challenge of criminal acts by state and federal employees. The Irizarry family have constitutional right, and then it has the conclusion and etc. So here, there's a lot of case law that's on there, to back up.
Hmm.
But it starts like this. This is just a little sample. What they leave in blank. What? No, we don't want no part of that. No, sir. We didn't hear it. We didn't see it. Sorry, that can't be put into evidence. That we can't put that on record. So I like to express a little bit, why. It says affidavit of truth and understanding and intent to claim a right. A little awareness and compassion from one government worker and the entire heartbreaking story that could have been avoided if properly investigated and audited. Instead, because the deception of the Department of Children and Family, DCF, and their mandates and the capricious attitude and unaccountability which DCF employees seems to enjoy. And now the Irizarry family right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness was destroyed. As the result of the department of DCF and their unlawful action resulted the Irizarry family being endangered mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and financially. My response was to study and to investigate. What I, Fernando, the family Irizarry, uncovered was a clearly deception in their mandates of the social workers. I do not see how one can possibly build anything worth defending when those whom we empower are themselves deceived. You cannot do evil in the hopes that good might come out of it, nor can you use threats to my heirs and to my family in deception to build a free and just society. So in my studies, I, Fernando of the family, come to the inescapable conclusion that the blame for this sad state of affair can be placed squarely upon the shoulder of all of us, be we the elected, agents, or voters. Our society can be compared to a ship upon which we find officers, crew members, and passengers. It seems to me that the passengers have forgotten the obligation they have to the ship and their fellow passenger, and now rely on officers and crew members to do everything for them. So this is part of one. This is just kind of a little rundown on just on one of them, and this it goes more. This is, I don't know how many pages this, but I'll just give you a quick argument. Here's where I wrote an argument. I do not question the integrity, intelligence, and intent of honor those I face. I do question the meaning of the natural law, the common law, the trust law, the canon law, the RICO law, the Constitution of the United States of America, and Connecticut State Constitution, and including equitable entitlements under the Uniform Commercial Code. I question Honorable John C. Driscoll and Honorable John L. Carbonua, who without legal authority assumed control over a descendant's property as an executor by claiming interest of my heirs illegally without my consent, by claiming executor decentor. So this is another one, just a little quick rule. What's in here, the why they, never answered, it was just left, in silence. No nothing, but here's a father still, you're making a claim against me. Here I'm rebutting yours. I want some answers. Here are my demandings. Here, here's my return. I'm responding. So no, not that. We can't touch that. We can't hear that. So this is just part of one. Obviously, are you getting the picture a little bit here? Just
yes.
What I'm finding, here's a bill of complaint in equity. Here's another one to the same Department of Children and Family. This is to the family court of John Carbonor. This is out of Willimantic. Another one, bill of complaint in equity, presentment to void proceeding and jurisdiction, introducing and background. Okay, just a little, another one. Okay. Comes now Fernando of the family Irizarry, a natural living being of majority status, conducting the style condition of the principal and beneficial title holder, and not an infant minor, hereinafter complainant. As such, I am exercising and well retaining and preserving all rights, natural rights, private, commercial, incorporeal, and otherwise does not tender this claim and makes the claim that the tender was special deposited on the accounts receivable books of the court via the respondent's commercial filings and or deposits into the court registry, who by their own admission of the complaint showing or causing to show existence or a qualified endorsement. So here's, I skip to the next page and it says rule of law, whereby this cause being a complaint in exclusive equity jurisdiction, as it directly involves the property, estates, securities of an infant minor, cites the rule of law as follows upon, and then it has the Bill of Rights. No person should include infants minor property shall be taken, damaged, or destroyed for or applied to public use without adequate compensation being made, unless by consent of such person, and when taken, except for those use of the state. Such compensation should first be made or secured by deposit or money. So this is on one of them, on the bill of complaint. Just a little quick view, what's there. Again, no, nothing, no answer, no, nada, zero. So I'll skip to the next. There go another one. Okay, and they're all stamped, by the way, Juvenile Superior Court, Juvenile Matters of Willimantic, and then, it has the date and the exact time when they stamped these. So they should be familiar with this if they received it. And nothing, never put into evidence, not on record, no nothing. So here's a father, making his argument in black and white. So, okay, this one has my contract number. Of course, most of all my document, I create my own contract number. They on there, so is an affidavit, proof of claim, and demand and contract. Okay, it says private attorney. In some language are here are Latin, so it's hard to pronounce it. But it says in your court, also the sovereign is. Also in the capacity of private attorney representing the court. The court represents the court, the sovereign, and the suit of the sovereign. The practice of law cannot be licensed by any states. A state cannot exclude a person from practice of law or from any other occupation in a manner or for reasons that contravene the due process clause of the 14th Amendment. Okay, then it has, I can go on, tell them, hey, I don't consent to contract, etc. Here's my condition, the conditional acceptance for agreement, contract and counter offer, All right. I'll start with a proof of claim number one, just to get just the beginning on page 4 here on that one. Proof of claim that this court can unlawfully enforce statutes, codes, rules, and policy on me. And when I am not a government authority, and being you are only acting as an administrator or clerk and not a judge. A code or statute is not law. And then it has a case law, Flamboy First National Bank of, okay? And it says a code is not a law. All codes, rules, and regulations are for government authorities only, not humans, not creators in accord with God laws. All codes, rules, and regulations are unconstitutional and lacking the due process of law. And then it says the common law is the real law, the supreme law of the land. The codes, rule, regulation, policy, or statutes are not law. They are law of government for internal regulation, not law of man. And his separate but equal station and natural. Okay, that's just proof claim number one. But there's I don't know how many. It goes. The list goes on. Just a little glimpse on another item, part of that 42 that. No,
right.
No,
You can go on forever with that. Do you have someone that helps you with all this legal stuff?
Honestly, I'm self-taught. I've done my homework. I watch and I listen to many gurus that's out there that's putting information. I don't go by everything I see. I don't go by everything I
Right.
believe.
You can
I
feel
don't.
out who says what.
So right, I've been defrauded. Hey, yeah, I could get your kids back, sure, no problem. On the private side, but here's how much it costs. So not
Right.
only I got robbed by the poor families, and everyone, but now here's players who say that they can get you home, but here's another high fee. I can't give you what I don't have. There's money, you know, you know, and
And
so
what do you recommend to people when you because you're learning, you investigate, you find these resources. When you find a flaw in someone, what would you recommend an individual to look out for because they don't know? They don't know what you know. Not yet, anyways. Eventually they will because this is going to keep them in the court system for a long time if they go that route, right? If they have to fight.
right, right. Well, I did everything I can. I what I would recommend to families is honestly, I think, and I can't stress it, but I think equity is the way. I just haven't been guided, to that direction. I was self-taught. I'm still learning. I think I already exhausted all remedies, on what to do. I already did all my complaint. I think the only thing that's left for me is just IRS and Treasury. Let them and see what they can find. I mean, it's it's hard. I had to learn. I have to, learn canon law. I had to learn what's in the state constitution.
What is canon law?
Uh, oh, geez. Uh, well, these are the roles that the judges play as a priest, one as a landlord, and so forth. So
They
canon law,
role play?
yeah. So
Okay.
I mean, I don't have the whole full knowledge, but when I read it, I kind of understood. Oh, geez, even the judge knows he screwed up. He should know this. I mean, he did took an oath, you know. So, but which oath is he, bound by? Is it, America, judicial as a judge for what the rule of law, interpret what the law says, or a judge who is just nothing more banking for the bankruptcy of the United States and just you know uh, doing their foreign business you
Right.
know under a what is it, QSIN number or EINs. They create their own thing where put the money somewhere else, and so I think I saw a video long ago where there were retired judge who exposes, and they were caught out on live video even saying these things, confessing it themselves. So when I did research, when I found the QSIT number, that's why I had to pay close attention to my youngest daughter's case, Adeline. Why they changed her last name without my consent? Why they changed, got new Social Security, and there's so many things that they think that I don't know. I've been on this case because FBI, DOJ, and all these people that's supposed to serve and protect are not doing it. So I had to dig deep and do my own research. I spoken to a CEO of Save Our Children, Pamela Olsen. I forgot her name, but I've spoken to a lot of people and they agree. It makes a lot of sense to me. Here they can create a whole story, a book, and write a big book, that is not even protected by any law, just their statute, code, policy. I don't understand. I'm not interested in getting involved with their. But sometimes, I had to learn. Hey, sometimes you do have to play both sides, the public and the private. So this is why I say to the people, it is important to, learn commerce. Learn equity, learn trust. Understand the state constitution because it is there, and we have the power.
And I look back, how they create laws. So I look the George Floyd story. I look what happened at January 6th, and what all the story with the fathers coming out. I mean, from what I have here and still no answers, what is left for us to do? I think we're at the point where we had enough. I think January 6th was an example. I'm not trying to insinuate anything or incite anything, but just a little sample. Shit, man. Sometimes we have to make noise to make our point across, but violence is not the way. I don't recommend. I think that's why I hang for so long, because I think the more I study, the more I educate, the more I get through to people that have more knowledge than me, that can help me with my process. And this is, I'm led by the Most High God, and here it is, a part of the 42 cease and desist. This, I can go on and on and on. Cease, here it is. Stop what you're doing. Hey, oh, and this attachment, I have attached the birth certificate, because if you're making a claim against that fictitious person of the birth certificate, that's the trust, And so if you own it and that's you, then you're liable, you're responsible, So, geez,
Right.
so I am asking the public's help, and because, if this is happening to me, and this happened on May 15th of 2018, I'm pretty sure that the commissioners are still signing off on these bogus documents, okay? And families are still being targeted today. It may have not discovered what I already discovered in my case alone, because I wasn't buying the story of the school uniform policy, school attendance policy, or the story of father punching daughter in the face that knocked her. I wasn't buying that lie. So which lie is it? Is it the lie that they sell to extort, to traffic, to continue to treason, and because these judges are in violation? I hope they know that, and I hope that they are aware of those documents. If they knew that I submitted these documents, and they were receiving them, this should have been good enough for the judges or attorneys or everyone that's there. Hold on, oh, let me not mess with this guy. What is he talking about? Let me look into this, because here's a caseworker making these accusations of this man that needed a protected order for 99 years. And by the way, a piece of paper cannot protect your body or personal property or things of that nature. So I don't know where they got that idea from, but thank God I'm doing what I'm doing here, which is study and knowledge. And the more I learn, the more I get it, the more I can expose, and hopefully we can get somewhere, because this is a war against children, it's a war against fathers, it's a war against mothers, it's a war, it is a whole scheme, and it's all federal funding fraud, bunch of bull crap, and I'm part of that scam. That's why, these documents was left in silence. I'll grab another one here, just here. This one was to a judge. I'll jump to the next. Okay, notice to agent, notice to principal. Notice to principal is notice to agent. Dear Honorable Presiding Judge, okay, please note, I have been informed the court sold bonds and or securities bearing with the name Fernando Irizarry under the Social Security number 123456789 without my knowledge and consent, which I believe is security fraud, as well as breach of your fiduciary duties. While I am not making such an accusation at this time, but I am giving you an opportunity to rectify this situation. And then enclosed, you will find the GSA forms, OF90, release of lien on real property, OF91, release of personal property from escrow, affidavit of individual surety. So this is another notice to a judge, giving him nothing, no response, no, okay. This is another one, notification of reservation of rights. I made some errors because when learning from all of this, here I am. I'm using everything that I can, which I know that I learned the difference between public and private. Some you can use the UCC for certain things not. You can use the uniform, the United States codes for certain things, certain not. The state constitution or the United. So it different. So I was learning. So I was given everything that I got. Everything that belongs to them. They created this, so I'm using their shit against them. Here it is, black and white. But you're not responding, you're not answering. It's left in silence. So I'm taking it as you agreed to this, but you're still trafficking my little one. So when they incarcerated me, okay, for this judge for the inciting injury to person or property, they put a bond at me for $100,000. So I provided a check. Here's the international promissory note that I provided. Okay, for that case, there should be a case number in there somewhere. Okay, but no, well, what's that? I can't accept that check or promissory note. I'll jump into the next one. It says bill of complaint in equity, presentment to void proceeding and jurisdiction. Okay, it says comes now Fernando Irizarry, a natural living being of majority status, conducting the style condition. This is similar to the other one, but it's the same.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, well, I need to just let you know, we're getting close to the hour here, Fernando, and we've got about 9 minutes left. So maybe if there's something else that other than the documents you'd like to talk about before we leave.
Sure.
Because you could always come back and finish on those documents. I mean, this is open for you to come and share all your knowledge and information. But we're running out of time, so I want you to get some other things in there that you need to get out today.
Sure. Well, I'll end it with a little closing. This is to all the families out in Connecticut. This happened to in the town that I was living in, the state of Connecticut.
Can you get closer to your mic? Sorry.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, sorry. I blocked the microphone with all the papers.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Okay. So just to all the families out there who suffered, the same as me, fighting for their loved ones, it's not as always as everyone say, hey, just do everything as, you told, comply, response, just do everything. It doesn't work that way. I give you an example. My wife did everything she can. She fought hard for our little ones, and so did I. I describe some of the paperwork just to give you the little glimpse what fraud looked like. Here's a father making these claims. So if this happened to me, it can happen to you. And this is a crisis, and I believe nationwide what's going on, I should have the right to say we're in a state of emergency here with child trafficking, with extortion. The family court system is corrupt, the department, and it needs to, stop the federal funding, stop releasing the federal funds. I don't know what else to say. I suffered enough. I'm still learning. If those who watched and wish to speak with me, you can reach me at my email. That is kingmias, KINGMIAS10 @gmail.com. That's kingmias10 @gmail.com. You can email me, and we can forward. But it's a national crisis, and Connecticut is corrupt with the family court and DCF. And I wish I had more time to expose more, but it's just a little glimpse. You be the judge, you're the jury. You decide what happened if this happens to you. They make up these lies, hearsay, assumption and presumption. Yeah, you're not protected at all. And so where does it leave us? As you see, I did everything that I can. What else do I have left?
I don't know. Let's talk. I'm sure we can do something, and we can make a change, because
Do
it is
you
our little ones who are suffering. If, and thank you for for having me. Thank you for this opportunity. I haven't been on live like this. I spoken with other people through the phone. It was a lot easier than the video, but I'm starting to feel more confident where I think I can possibly go on my own and talk more, and maybe try to reach out to families who been through the same thing. This is not a bunch of blah 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 to be left out of thin air just like that. It's not one of those kind of story. For all the
absolutely?
this should be audited, investigated, and because I'm sure it's still continuing for the state of Connecticut. If I discover this alone without on my own, I didn't have time. I didn't want to talk about the deep root of it all, because I don't want to be targeted. I don't want to get murdered. I don't want for them to say, hey, he committed suicide, or things of that nature, because it happens.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening. Look at the judge that just got killed by a father who had his children taken away. I mean,
Yeah.
he may have been a great dad before and then went off the deep end. Any parent would do that. I mean, I was down at my lowest when I had my kids taken from me and given to the abuser only because they were 15, 17, and 18. Kids tend to um, when there's a parent that's absent, the kids tend to want to be with that absent parent because they never received any kind of bond with them before. So, of course, they're going to go with the father. But that was a shock when the judge literally said that he's leaving it up to the children whether they want to see me or not. And I get a phone call a day after raising them for 19 years all by myself.
Yeah.
Now, how do you go from taking good care of these kids for 19 years with no incident, no record, no nothing? As a matter of fact, I work for the military police as a dispatch, helping families, taking calls daily for 12 hours, listening to calls of real abuse, to be condemned and accused of doing something that it was out of the norm. So of course my own kids turned on me because they knew they would be abused by their father if they left
Yeah.
without him, right?
Yeah.
So these judges need to understand that what they're doing to the kids is so detrimental to their health, and they are pushing the good parent off the deep end. And not everybody is strong and as resilient as others, because my kids were, by the time I got divorced, they were almost all 18, 19, and 20, 21 almost. So I knew they were going to be set free anyways. And I helped them get to that point when they were with me. So I was letting them go, and it helped me at the end. But if my kids were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think I would have lost it. I may have gone off the deep end too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The younger the children, the harder it is.
Yeah.
The
And
older the older they are as teenagers, you have to let them go to make up their mind, and hopefully you think you raised them well enough to find out for themselves that, hey, I just got taken away from a loving mom or a loving dad. How do I get back to that position? So these kids need to go back and say to the judge, hey, judge, you fucked up. You made me choose. You made me do this. You made me do this. Now I'm going out to kill somebody. I'm going to do school shooting. You mentally and emotionally abused my brain. What do I do? Where do I go? They don't care. Once the kids are 18, they don't care what happens. And they almost want these kids to get into trouble so that the jail cells are full. The police are doing something that, they're already set up. They know the kids are going to do this because the kids are pushed to there.
right.
They're pushed to the limit once they get to be 16, 17. Who do they turn to?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nobody out there. CAS,
It's
they
hard.
don't care.
It's hard, and it's even harder for us where we can't even find normal work because our record. We can't buy a decent home because our credit. And
Because
so
you've been wrongfully accused and,
it's
falsified, and your identity's been stolen. And wow, it's gone rampant. It's gone
yeah,
really, really bad. And we have just uncovered a whole can of worms out there. And like you said, yes, we are targeted. They can come and,
yeah,
they'd be like snipers in the field because they're such cowards. They can't come to your face.
yeah,
They're
right,
scared of us because, we have the truth. We speak the truth.
yeah,
We are living the truth. We are living the hell at the same time.
yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, which one is the truth? You know, I mean, I put it black and white, or what they describe: school attendance, school uniform, father punching. So
Yeah,
you be the
well,
judge.
I went through the same thing. I had a meeting with the school principal, and when I left, I went to court the next day. It was an emergency hearing because I apparently, as I'm in the office with the principal, beaten up my daughter. I never got to see my kids. So when I investigated it and called the school board and asked why did the principal write this letter, I had a recording. I took a recorder with me, and these recorders you can't change because they're all on one tape. So this was way back in 2005.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking, how dare you? And this was the ex that literally forged the principal's name. His lawyer
they'll do
helped
it.
him,
They
and
won't
I
present
get
you.
condemned for it. And
They
now these
won't.
and now the kids are so brainwashed to believe their own lies and say, yeah, you beat me up in the hallway. And it's like, what? I didn't even get to see you. That's why I went to see you, to take you for lunch, and you're not there.
Yeah,
So we have to be very careful. And I suggest all the time for parents when they go to visit their kids, always to have someone with them, never to go alone, because we are accused of everything and anything. And these people are quite dangerous because we do go to jail. I went twice, and I lost everything. And material things to me never mattered. All
right,
that mattered was that my kids had a healthy environment. They had food on the table, a warm bed, roof over their heads, and they went to school.
right. Hey,
That
like
was my job.
I never asked for their help. I never asked for their services. I
Me neither.
accepted us.
And here I'm being accused of them being my maids, but yet I had a maid, I had a cleaner, I had drivers. They never had to drive it and walk anywhere. I had drivers that take them. I mean, I was financially well off, but the ex got it all. And just said, you know what? Who cares? It's just money. You're going to end up paying it back to me eventually. So why should I fight for that? I fought for my kids. The divorce. The judge said it was one of the fastest ones he's ever done.
Yeah,
But yet it took me years in court not to get my kids.
yeah. The
That's
greatest
where the
liar.
money was wasted. They prolong the process on getting your children because they know you don't care about your ex.
Right,
And
right.
that's why the exes
Yeah,
are seeking revenge, because we don't care about them. We
yeah,
want the children.
yeah, yeah. Well, they forced separation. They told my wife, "Hey, you'll get your kids back, but you got to leave Fernando Irizarry. You cannot be with him." And then they'll lie and say that there is a protection order, and then there was none existing.
Yeah.
And so it's a war for your mind, and war for they will rob you here existing on earth, your right to property, to your own soul, to your own body.
Yeah, your house.
And it's like, who gave them the authority? Who is it? An error or something that wasn't fully disclosed to my mom when she signed a birth certificate before releasing me out of the hospital? I mean, was it an agree something that I never agreed to have Fernando Irizarry, for an example? So it goes on. So now that I've
Yeah,
learned, I'm awake, and so, but it's a lie, and it's a shame,
it's a
Um,
shame. It's
but
like we're born to be abused.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But who's watching these courts? Who's watching when a father make these allegations or these statements, or who's observing this? Who's, hold on, is this serious? Let me look into this, because if someone mentioning, hey, there's an error, someone needs to be there. Where's the error? Let me correct it. Let me inspect it. Let me review it, audit it, do whatever it takes. This is what the judge, the prosecutor, Michael Bessel, the attorney generals, and this is what they all should have done, but they neglected the entire thing. And this is why I have the right to claim my offspring are being trafficked and they are being extorted for federal funding, nothing more, nothing less. And I do ask for your help. Please rescue them, secure them, and restore our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Because this is my cry, this is their cry, and this is millions of people's same cry. It's just different uh, people, places, and things, and how they interpret it to what statutes, codes, policy, whatever.
Right.
But that's the story. That's where I am. Thank you, for having me. It's been a long road where I am today. I still haven't left the battlefield. I'm still in it. I haven't submitted nothing yet. It's in the process. It's all, work by my own hands. So I don't have, trustees or, people to help me. So, it's coming. Their time will come, you know. Not it's not my time, I leave it up to the Most High, so, but just awareness, be aware, because this is still happening today in the state of Connecticut. Vanessa Durantes, that's the commissioner of the state of Connecticut handling DCF, and the previous commissioner, Joette Katz. Uh, you know, you're signing illegal documents, you're committing fraud. Um, so
Yeah.
for all the families, take notice, educate yourself. It's not what is always seen.
Wait, hold on a sec.
I don't know.
I had to get down,
Well,
pick her up. She's so
thank you.
tiny. She came to say hello. We have Penny Fisher. Penny was on the show. She
I
says as
can't
long
hear
as
you.
you and your children
I
are
can't hear you.
there's hope. So you can't hear me?
No.
Oh, what the heck? Wonder why. Maybe your mic is my mic is on. You can't hear me? Okay. Well, I'm not sure why, but I just want to end the show and want to say thank you to all the viewers out there for tuning in. Thank you so much. And if anybody wants to come on to the show, please message me or send me an email at Mary underscore Kovacs at hotmail.com. And I would love to put you on. You could share your story. So thank you again, Fernando, and guests for tuning in to Let's Talk on Parent Alienation is child abuse. And we'll see you next week, Sunday at the same time, or on Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons at 1 p.m. Eastern. Thanks again. Stay safe and never give up.